Hello everybody, I'm going to do a review and a demonstration on this 3M hand masker. This is model number M3000. These are really cool tools. Now I bought this in a kit, and the kit came with basically what you see here. The masker itself, a blade, a roll of tape, and some of the masking film. Now this was about $65. I picked it up at Sherwin-Williams. I can't find my receipt, but I had, I believe, $15 off anything over 50 bucks. So do your own math. They also sell these with just the masker handle itself, and then you buy a separate blade, and it comes with a ladder hook that mounts to this handle. And my kit did not come with a ladder hook, and I can't seem to find one. I've got Sherwin-Williams contacting 3M for me, because when you get up on a ladder it's kind of hard to deal with it, so I end up sticking it in between my legs. So anyway, basically this is a quick way to mask off windows and doors, and you can buy different lengths of film. It came with a 48-inch film. No, I'm sorry, it came with a 72-inch film, but I have a 48-inch film that I picked up. And once you get the film on across the top, you just start pulling it down, and it actually has a lot of static cling to it, so it will stick to your window, and then you can mask off around its perimeter. It's very quick. I'm not super fast with it, but it saves me a bunch of time. So there's a blade that cuts it off under here, and they sell two separate blades. It comes with the sharp blade, which is for the film, but they sell a paper blade as well, and I really see no reason to have it because it works just fine with the paper. The guard will come up, and then you flick your wrist and cut it off. And there's a little technique involved. You got to get it just right, but once you pull it out, you can flick it and then start pulling it down on the window. I'm not going to roll this out, but I'm going to go ahead and change it to another paper roll. So you can see the roll just snaps onto this. And I have some 15-inch paper that I'm using for various things. And I have some 12-inch paper. So it's very simple to load. You want the paper to roll over the top. Push it on. Hopefully you can see this little arm right here. Just make sure it's wound up fairly tight. Stick your roll on again over the top. And there's a little pin right here that you need to put the tape through. So you just bring the tape through this little slot right here. And then roll it out underneath that, and it will apply the mask. When you get to where you want to, tear it off. Very, very cool. Go ahead and unload it here. And there is an adjustment on the blade for whatever width of tape you're using. It will go 3/4, 1 inch, 1.5, and 2-inch wide tape. And there's a series of holes right here. I have it in the 1-inch because that's what I'm using. And it's a little difficult to change it. You have to snap it off like that, and then you can pick your hole and snap it back on, and you're good to go. You can buy replacement blades. There's really not much else that can go wrong with it. It does have a provision here where you could put a tape dispenser on it, and when you're breaking out your little pieces of tape to kind of tack things down or fill any gaps, you could use that. But I just keep this in my pocket. A lot of people will keep these on their wrists, but unfortunately I can't hardly get a roll of tape on my wrist because I have big hands, I guess. So I end up keeping it in my pocket. But I'm going to do a demonstration on it or two. It's a neat tool. It works extremely well, and it makes taping and masking things off fairly quick. Alright, well, I'm going to try to give a demonstration here. This is the best I can do for the camera. I've got, I don't know, 6 or so pieces of tape stuck to my shirt that are going to come in handy. Here we go. starting in about 1/4 inch away from the edge. And I'm cutting it off about the same. I'm going to start pulling it down. Now I'm going to start working my tape. Stick it here and then pull it over. And it doesn't cut it straight most of the time. You kind of have to put more tape on as you run your line. Just putting a few on to hold it. Now I'll start running my line down. Put this thing on the floor. And any spaces that it doesn't get, put some more tape on. And you can use a wider tape, I just don't have any. Got to move the ladder. Double check it. Looks good to me. Not super fast at it, but faster than trying to use individual sheets. Really cool tool. Alright, just a quick shot of it all taped up at a better viewpoint. Alright, well here's just a real quick clip of everything masked off and ready to paint. I'm getting ready to spray now. Well, alright, I just finished my second coat. So I need to start pulling this masking off while it's still wet, so I don't bridge the tape. So I'll get that off. Obviously it's the same color as it was. That house right there, that was my paint. We were going to paint it that color. But after we got the siding on, we looked at it yellow for so long. We decided to go with that, so I sold my neighbor 6 gallons of Sherwin-Williams Resilience paint, about $65 a gallon. I sold it to her for 200 bucks. So I took a little beating on it, but this color's pretty cool. It's a little shot of it when it's dry. Don't know if it's turning out, but back to work. Well, alright, it is an outstanding tool in my opinion. There is a technique involved, and I'll explain that briefly. getting it to cut straight is a little bit of an issue, at least for me. I haven't quite got the technique down yet, and you can see how this is not cut straight right here. Starts up and then it goes down at a taper, so when you unfold it, you get the jagged line running down. I'm having to run a separate line of tape past that. So the trick is, even though I haven't quite got it yet, is when you're getting ready to cut, instead of flipping it out to where this bends this way, you need to try to put a pressure to the left, so to speak, to try to get a straight line cut. You know, I know it's just user error there. It does work great. And again, you can use a whole host of papers and films. 6, 9, 12, 15. I think you can actually get 18s, but they weren't available in my area. And of course the 72-inch film that came with it, as well as a 48-inch film, which I have loaded on right here. Now I found that for doors and windows, at least in my house, a 48 and a 72 does everything that I need. On my back door, I ran a 48 across and I ran another one across to make up the difference. I've got some 5-foot windows, things of that nature, so the 72 works out just great. Just a little bit of general information. It is an outstanding tool and it works great, and it saved me a bunch of time and is still saving me a bunch of time. I highly recommend picking one up for doing your masking jobs. It makes it a whole lot easier. Hope this helps in some way. Thanks for watching. Good luck.